Hi guys, and welcome to this video. I'm going to be commentating my dual PB that I just got the other day with Molgoatkirby. So before Maiden, we trade runes. I give him 5 soul and 40 death so that he can venge and death charge, and he gives me lava runes and chins so that I also have venge and can thrall, and so that I can tick fix if I get a North 3. After I enter, I thrall before I hammer. Then I actually intentionally do a 7-tick hammer, um, or I intentionally lose a tick at some point before 70s so that I'm the same tick as him because he does 2 6-tick actions by doing 2 relices to get to 0 defense. Um, Now once 70 spawns, I'm going to switch to my mage gear and be ready to freeze. I put on Mage Prey there because if we had procced it, then it wouldn't venge us. So now I freeze the crabs and immediately SPX back to Ancients. Unfortunately, I got a blood spawn right next to me. Luckily, it didn't actually walk onto me, so I didn't take any damage from that blood spawn. I should have probably ran away from the blood to be a little safer, and I barraged the clump down. Here, I'm still 109 HP, so I'm going to camp Rancor. No need to put Blood Fury on yet. But as soon as I go below like 95 HP, I'll put rank one there. I did a little trick there. I pre-switched half my mage gear in case it had procced. I would have been ready. And then here I lose a tick. If I had just clicked a little bit faster, I wouldn't have lost a tick with that quick switch in between freezes. But unfortunately, I lose a tick. And that is really bad. You don't want to lose in ticks. And I also misclicked my mage helm. Luckily, I have 100% freeze with 5-way and augury, so I was still able to get the freeze and DPS off. Luckily here, I did take a blood splat. Luckily, none of the crabs that I have to claw on these 30s spawned, so only the S2 spawned other than 4s. So because of that, Kirby was able to claw the S2, and then we just freeze the 4s and skip from there. Also, I had gotten off 2 of my death charges, so I was able to then send double claws. Um, Try to DPS for the skip. I'm flinching here so that I don't take the Venge, so that he does take the Venge. He Venges pretty big there, and then the Thrall finishes it off the Maiden. So this is pretty fast Maiden. Now we're on to Bloat. So before Bloat, I have to drop all my extra runes, and then pick up my necks and go off to Bloat. For Bloat, we actually don't go into the room immediately. We want to wait till Bloat comes around to us, and then we start the room right so that we can scythe Bloat right as we enter, um, because we're P-necking the first down. So here I am going to drop my pots and also drop my sulfur blades, as well as uncharging my shadow and uncharging my Sang, so that now I have souls, bloods, and also SPS runes. But I don't need lavas here because I don't need to thrall, because thrall doesn't do that much damage on bloat. And I also already have SPS because of the runes I've taken. So Kirby enters here now 3 ticks after bloat has gone through the middle. I enter 1 tick after he is flush. And now Kirby wraps around, re-enters, and starts, it does a few stalls there with his Phoenix before, this is his last stall, before now he's just going to Phoenix it freely without stalling because he's out of Arceus spells, so switch back. I'm going to do 2 stalls here, dodge the hand there, now it goes down. Because of where it went down, I know that I don't need to claw spec, and I'm able to get 7 hits on Bloat here. So I'll just go for Chelly at the end here. And luckily we do a lot of damage here, so it actually walks, which means it doesn't fly us. Now, unfortunately, right here it turns. I don't see that fast enough, and I'm not able to get in position to windmill this way. But I have a method here where I windmill bloat. I end up using 2 necks there for just 1 scythe. Usually I can end up doing 2 scythes and getting 1 neck. I think about T-bowing there, but I was a little late and hesitant, so instead I'm just going to wait for it to go down. It does go down right here. Kirby is unfortunately late to the down, but I'm pretty quick to it. Unfortunately, yeah, we do lose 2 ticks because Kirby was late to the down there, but do get off the bloat. And yeah, that's still a pretty fast bloat. 121, you want most of the time you get like 1-2 explodes, so a low 121 is pretty good. Really good bloat would be like 119 or 118. My that I know of best bloat without running in with full inventory of Phoenix is 117 actually. So it's pretty close to that. Only like a scythe slower or a little more than a scythe. And then here you wanna we both tend to buy 2 prayer pots and the rest of our inventory space with sharks. You usually have plenty of points in duos to refill your inventory with supplies from the chest. So we both opt to get 2 prayer pots because we use redemption quite a bit, or try to spam redemptions as much as we can on Sotetseg to get as much HP for the Venges. So now I'm just organizing my inventory. I have a very specific pattern which I put all my items in, and you see I have the Dins and Scythe there on the top left. There I take off the boots and legs there, so that I only have 1 free inventory slot when I left click empty my rune pouch, so only the deaths come out because they're on top. Now I need to I uncharged and recharged my Sang so that I have bloods out for for barrage, and then I also have souls out from my shadow for blood barrage in case I want to blood barrage. Here I'm going to switch to long range, divine and heart right before the crab, and then summon a thrall. Now I'm going to heal Kirby because I have blood barrage. I do a lot of sanging, and I also melee with the blood fury, so I'm going to get all my health back. There I did a SPS between 4 tick actions. And then here I'm pretty much just trying not to lose ticks, switching between melee and mage. Unfortunately there, he maged a crab that I clicked on, but at least we didn't double up on it because the plugin already told me that the crab was dead, and I was able to quickly switch back to the sulfur blades. We use the sulfur blades here instead of swift because that was pretty epic with the scythe. We use the sulfur blades here instead of swift because uh, the Swiftblade, though it attacks faster, it has much lower kill odds on the crabs. The Sulfur Blades, you're pretty high odds to just one-hit the crabs, and that's pretty nice. Here, we have switched from him scything his side to me scything my side, and then me dinsing the aggro that comes from him, and it usually gets a bunch of melees over there. Unfortunately, it didn't go so well this time around because I misclicked the range, and ran to the pillar, which made the dins not really hit the right crabs. But we just move forward and get past it. We probably stalled 1 or 2 extra times because of that mistake. Um, Now here, basically, we want, as you notice, we left those 13 and 14 bigs alive, and we're just trying to, and we killed them after the 15 smalls had been killed. But then after we kill them, you basically are just trying to clean up all their smalls. Now we're on to wave 20, and I want to pre-fire this mage to kill it. And then I want to kill a bunch of as many melees as I can. Unfortunately, you're only able to get 2 Makas there off before I need to barrage my side. And then I go for Sulfur Blades. Sulfur Blades, Makas, same thing. You can use Makas, but you can't drop them, and you'll see here, because, I mean, you could drop them, but they're 3 mil. And you'll see here after after the Nylocas, actually, I dropped the Sulfur Blades for more inventory space. Here I pre-fire the 24, and then I scythe the 25 melee aggro, and then scythe the other 20 or 24 melee aggro, then the 25 melee aggro, and then I mage the 26 aggro. Now, for after the 26 aggro, I don't actually pop any more bigs. I'm just focusing on trying to find barrage value, just trying to sang early crabs, and just trying to kill as many crabs as possible to stop the room from stalling. I do so I can get the 30 mage big and the 29 melee big out. I do actually get them out, so that's pretty nice that I'm able to kill them pretty quickly. Now I'm just focused on cleaning up all the splits and newer crabs. Here I go for barrage. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill them. Um, and then just milling, and you can see intentionally that I'm ignoring some grade crabs and maybe even 30 crabs because they are going to explode anyways, so you want to just ignore them, not waste your time killing them, and let them explode. You do want to hopefully stand away from them as they explode, but if you take a little bit of damage, that's okay. Here I should have put on my either Rancor or Ultor. You really don't want to have both your Lightbearer and Blood Fury on. If you have your Lightbearer on, you really want to have your Rancor on because then you keep your 48 Scythe max. But, you know, mistakes were made for that first hit. Now I have Ultar on for the rest of the Niloking. Here I'm just taking off my boots for extra damage or extra accuracy. It really is very negligible to even do these armor takeoffs because you can see Kirby has hit the boss of 3 defense. So I'm only really getting increased accuracy, both ranged accuracy when I take off the armor, and then mage accuracy when I take off the boots. It really doesn't make that big a difference, but I find it quite fun, and I like clicking things. Uh, so that's that. I did miss Augury there. Maybe I got off. I'm not sure. Missing Augury is actually quite much worse than missing any takeoffs. It's not that bad, but you do lose a few max hits with Augury because there I'm considering taking off the armor to hope that you can see there that I divine right before the room ends, and that's so that now I'm divine for Sotetseg, but I've already been healed up to 99 by the room ending. As I was saying, I was trying to take off my armor so that the Niloking would hit me while I was venged. I was actually holding the venge there for a little bit at the end because I wanted to take an off-prey venge, but I was only 50 HP. So if I had taken an off-prey venge at 50 HP when the boss is like 15%, then I could die and that would lose some time. But if the boss is only like 8%, then the off-prey venge might actually kill the boss, and that is much. It's worth dying for that. But I didn't die in either case. This is actually quite fast Nilo. So now we're 801 into Sotetseg. This is the kind of pace that you actually do want for sub 19. I mean, which would be rec. I mean, you would want realistically, you would want even a little faster, like 7.5x for sub 19. But if you get a 2.2x or 2.1x, so you're definitely on pace for sub 19. But we'll see what we get here in Sotetseg. And you want to start this room on 2 because that usually makes it so that you teleport on a really good cycle for the maze. Again, boots off for the pre-fire. Make sure your shadow there is on long range, and the boots off probably does actually make a much bigger difference. Drop the neck here so that if I get chosen to run the maze, then I'm going to pick up that neck. We have 3 necks between us, so effectively we each will be guaranteed to be able to use a neck for the maze skip if I drop a neck, because he has a necklace in his inventory right now, and I also have a necklace, and then whoever uses their necklace on the maze will pick up that one neck. Put on the light bearer right as a taillight, because you actually want to put on the light bearer right as you get 60% spec, and it just worked out that I got 60% spec as I taillight. And he ran straight across the maze and skipped it, and now we are on to P2 here. You want to take, especially when you have enough PNX to skip all the mazes, you want to take as many venges as possible. He heal others me with all his HP before he eats the bomb. It's really, you also want to stand in melee distance if you're full HP, because it's nice to have the ball go on the person with less HP, but you can move around the HP really easily with heal other. Here, I'm kind of waiting for my Venge to come off cooldown. He picks up the neck there, which is really good because he's low HP, so he needs to have the neck for the skip. But I really want to get another Venge off. And unfortunately, it doesn't really hit me hard. It hits me a 5. I really wish that it had hit me higher there so that I could recoil more damage onto Sotetseg. Here, if he does melee me, I would take a lot of damage there. Put Ultra on as I get to 50. It was looking a little faster, so we thought maybe that we could camp Lightbearer and we get the 50% spec right here from the Lightbearer, but there I skipped the maze because I spawned the maze at 80 HP. I don't actually put the neck on until I'm halfway across the maze, and then I was able to put the hammer on before the stall, and that way I was able to put on the spec while I was in the stall, and then right the tick I got off the maze, I equipped my Rancor, I ate a shark, and I attacked Sot all in the same tick, and that way I attacked with my piety on, with my spec on, and I also ate to 58 HP, so I was able to avenge immediately after that. Unfortunately, he didn't venge other me at all, so I wasn't able to get off a second venge on P3 because my venge cooldown was on 30 seconds, but it's still a pretty decent SOT. 231 isn't insanely fast for Sotetseg, but it's not bad either. Here I decant a few potions so that now I'm able to give him 2-dose Divine, and we usually end up between us having one extra pair pot for Verzik after Sotetseg, but we don't always, and that way we're able to have basically a excess of prayer if we want to do more redemptions. We basically never run out of prayer on Sotetseg. Here, just do a little bit of stretching because it is quite fast pace, 235 into Xarpus. drop some sharks for him. Because he actually brings 7 Phoenix into the raid, he usually, because he brings 7 Phoenix into the raid, at uh, at Nilo's, at the Nilo chest, he buys 2 prayer pots, and then if he uses all his Phoenix 5 sharks, so he uses more points than I do at the Nilo chest, because I'd buy 2 prayer pots, and then if I use all my next, only 4 sharks. And then at Sotetseg, I drop my sulfur blades, so I actually have about the same amount of inventory space as him, and so he has less points, so I usually drop sharks to him for that reason. Now here, we're just on the exhumes. You want to spread out and try to stand on as many exhumes as you can. I will sometimes when we're tied, like we're both getting to the exhume at the exact same time, I will say either yours or mine, and that way we don't both go to it and both so that we're both DD on it, or we both like leave from it at the same time, which would be really bad. That doesn't really come up here too often when we're tied. There's only one more exhume here to go, and it's in the corner there. Pretty good heals. I think we only healed about 60 or so. And now we're just hoping that we get 0. We just get really big BGS specs here so that Xarpus goes to 0 defense. Because you want to lower the boss's defense right at the start. Unfortunately, I ran in a tick early there, so I ragged that tile. And Kirby hits like an absolute goat to 0 defense Zarp. This is actually the 3rd Zarpus in a row that he's 0 defense, so he's actually auctioning off that BGS. The highest bid right now, I think, is about 1.2 bill, because BGS is just guaranteed to hit. 0 is just really, really high valuable item. But I think he also is going to put his signature on it. Maybe even some, like, handle will be a little greasy. You'll have to DM Kirby about that. Definitely should get in on that. I actually put a bid in on that BGS for 900 mil, but I really can't afford more than that. So I think Sheeshlor like outbeated me for 1.2 bill, but it's going through the roof. I think that BGS might be up to like 50, 60 bill. It's some like just some crazy people get there. Like, I don't know, Batman might even want that BGS. Um, but yeah, here Xarpus is really boring, guys. Like, you basically just you step back every 4 ticks, except when your scythe lines up with Xarpus's attack, and when that happens, you rag a tile. Everyone knows how to do Xarpus. I do rethrall there because unfortunately I don't have the Grandmaster achievements done. And then now he turns every 8 ticks, so basically you want to pre-move. He was looking because he's going to turn away from there. Unfortunately, Kirby loses a tick. Kirby, he was telling me, he was talking about this. He is absolutely shaking at this point because he died on last Sotetseg or something. He was shaking on Sotetseg 2, and I flamed him. I was like, it must have lost 6 seconds because death on Sotetseg. But anyways, maybe shouldn't have flamed him that much. And then I should have gone for the Chala here on 3.1% to be honest. But I went for the Chala here, and luckily it died to my Chala, so I didn't have to wait for Kirby's Chala. So Kirby's tick loss arguably might not have even mattered. Did buy some Manta Rays because I had so many points. And I dropped the lava runes here for picking up the staff. That's actually a really nice thing that I keep the lava runes until after there, because the lava runes can be traded. So like you'd think, oh, why wouldn't you keep them? Why wouldn't you drop them? And then you have more space for supplies. But usually Xarpus, we use 0 supplies anyways. And so you're gonna have to drop like a shark or something for that stuff anyways. So instead of trading again and wasting time trading, just drop the lava runes for the staff there. Here now, we are trading, we are wasting time, but I need to give him souls and deaths, just like Maiden, so that he can venge and death charge, because he's dropped all his runes after Sotetseg for supplies, and he'll give me more lavas because I need them again for thralls and venge myself. Now P1 starts. We both will be camping our light bearer, and both of us have to organize our inventories a little bit. You see me put the shadow over there. That'll be very useful when it comes to P2. And here I heart, and you want to be 112 mage because after the initial specs I'll be camping the Dawn. So he does 2 specs here, and then he drops it back to me. Then I run back to the pillar, and he actually stays, tanks an auto so that he gets a scythe off, and then he works out to be on this 28 tick cycle, where he attacks the Verzik 5 times. That's 5 scythes, so that's 25 ticks, and then he runs back to the pillar, and while he's running back, he eats a shark. So that's 3 ticks, so 25 plus 3 is 28, and I actually do it kind of there, where I eat the shark on the way back to the pillar, but I switch it out with the Sang, or with the Dawn, to get more DPS there. And so he does this 28 tick cycle, where he's able to eat a shark every other pillar flinch, and that way he, with that and with me healing him, he tends to be able to pretty much tank every other auto always, even if he gets maxed by every single auto. Unfortunately there, I wasn't able to, if we get really minned, sometimes I will pull up to the boss on that spec and drop it immediately. We'll both tank that auto, but I wasn't able to get above 60 HP easily, so I didn't do that. Here, I want to immediately shadow after my first scythe, because that's the most tick efficient method. You can see me pop the crabs by only taking a 7 and by losing 0 ticks. I'm pretty happy with it. Basically on P2, sometimes people, like in higher scales, they'll boac, but in duos, because you only have 2 crabs and 2 people, you really don't need to boac, because you see there me switching my Dawn or Shadow to Accurate for more DPS, because it was a long range from Sotetseg. But people don't really need to boac in duos because there's only 2 crabs. So you really just want to prioritize not losing ticks. There are advanced boac methods which you adapt to change depending on what tick cycle you're on, but I honestly am not really good enough to identify what tick cycle I'm on. Try and do that, so I sort of just freestyle it. And the general idea does go back to boac principles, which is that crabs on me, I go south, I just go south. I'm on the east side, so I just go south, and then crabs on him, he goes north. We do break those a little bit. So here it's really tragic. I go to scythe it because it says 38%, but then it goes to 34 right there. Luckily, I only hit a 23 heal, so still really bad. It's sort of like -5 ticks because I could have scythed the crab. I would have scythed the crab a tick later, so I lost 4 ticks on the crab, not 5. But so that's bad. But you know, no run is perfect, and you know, you get through the next one. I mean, there probably are some perfect runs, but honestly, I probably have not played a perfect run, at least not that I can remember. So there's always small mistakes along the way, for me at least. Here I'm just shadowing. Honestly, you don't have to do that tick fix shadow to save the ticks. Depending on what tick you are. So like here, I could have, I end up losing ticks here intentionally so that I attack on the first possible tick that I can. I do a shadow here because that puts me on a really good tick on the last possible tick before she heals. Again, even that shadow I didn't need to do because we end up killing her a cycle before our last hit anyways, but it's just for insurance basically. And the previous shadow was basically for insurance to just make sure that I don't like miss an entire scythe because I wasn't quite sure where I was on the red cycle relative to her. Here I drag Verzik back to exactly the spot where she spawns out of P2, so the crabs could be played optimally. Unfortunately, Kirby doesn't really know how to boac, so he ends up losing 2 ticks. He lost a tick before the crabs to picking up a P-neck, and then he lost ticks on the crab. He lost 1 tick just running there straight south. And here I go for a claw spec over here. Kirby scythes a tick late over there, and then I wait for him here. I thought he wouldn't have scythe there and would have started running sooner, but unfortunately he didn't. But luckily we didn't get webbed. We did chance getting webbed. Instead of waiting there, I should have waited sooner. But luckily we didn't get webbed, and we're actually able to come off of yellows without. We end up not losing any ticks or hits before yellows proc because of the way you actually have sort of one tick clearance there. Tornadoes proc here on this scythe, so we're able to scythe again because she doesn't attack for another 5 ticks. So let's do the yellows. Fortunately, I thought I had spec, but I did not, so I ended up Chally poking. Here, just run away from the tornado and do the yellow. And now I'm on her first tick, so I'm able to step under her as I attack, step under her as I attack, and the cycle repeats. I shouldn't have venged right before yellows, but I did. So if I hadn't avenged right before yellows, I could have actually intentionally tanked a melee since I'm so high HP. But unfortunately, I didn't do that, and we're able to kill P3 right before the green ball. So that is slam dunk sub 20 PB for me, PB for Kirby, and very happy with that raid. Honestly, we got a purple as well. And it's not just barely sub 20, it's quite deep. Sub 20, 1938, I think is a quite respectable time. I would like to get a sub 1930. I think that's pretty realistic. But this time with Kirby probably took about 60, 70 hours with specifically Kirby in these duos, and it was nice to finally get it. We've been potting these semi-consistently for about 10, 11 days now. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great day. Have a great night. And I hope you guys learned something too from this. Please let me know in the comments what I did wrong, what I didn't mention, what I could have done better. Definitely could work on Nilo waves. And yeah, really appreciate any feedback you have to offer. And I will be linking in the description Kirby's POV. He said he'd be uploading that shortly. So hopefully you can watch that as well on his YouTube channel. Have a great night. Goodbye.